Good afternoon, Ghana, and you're welcome to the studio here at Afua Ampofo, Northridge Metro TV. My name is Afua Ampofo. So, the day has brought us another opportunity to discuss and probe what is going on with Ukraine and Russia. And as we say, when these big countries sort of sneezes, it definitely affects especially with the developing ones, and sometimes we really do not know what to do. But the first attention we give to it now is to save our children who are in Ukraine currently. So from the beginning, right from the day the attack started, we were told some of our Ghanaian brothers and sisters made it home in anticipation of what was going to happen in the future. So they successfully made it to Ghana. Subsequently, others also made their own way into the country. We've had our foreign minister speak with us and has indicated the number of people, more than 400 Ghanaians. The government is preparing to have them join us back home. We know that on Tuesday, that will be the day we'll receive about 24 of them. Yesterday, Metro TV successfully spoke with the leader of that group that's going to be lifted by Ghana in Romania, as far as my memory serves me right. So those are some updates is what we have. But even on the news, we've also successfully spoken with some more students who are now making claims that do not focus on those who have left the danger zone. Now focus on those of us who are locked here. So we're told we're finding out if somewhere in the, the bomb shelters, and we couldn't get the information until this afternoon we were confirmed. It was confirmed to us that Sony spoke with us and he told us that some of them actually are hiding out in the, bomb shelters. We've seen videos circulating on social media that also indicates that there is even some level of racism in the movement of the people in Ukraine. So everybody is trying to move, right? So when buses, trucks, and trains and whatever come in, it looks like the blacks are complaining. I mean, the Africans, those with my skin type, are complaining that there is racism even to who to identify and allow onto the vehicle that that's being used to transport them. So let's see, we're going to get into this issue pretty shortly and get all the angles that we need from the security experts, from some students, from some parents as well here on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Afua Ampofo. We'll be back shortly. Okay, you're welcome back. You're on Good Afternoon Ghana, and today we are having a discussion with Dr. Bonaa, who is a security analyst. He's joined us in the studio already. Raymond Tandoh is a Ghanaian student still in Ukraine. We'll be speaking with him. Sarah Addo is a parent of a Ghanaian student also in Ukraine. And Philip Bobie-Ansah is a Ukraine NUGS president. We will also try and connect with him to give us some more details of how far we have gone and where we're taking it from, where we have gotten to. So let me welcome Dr. Bonaa into the studio. You're welcome, sir. And good afternoon. I think it's been a restless period of about a week or days for both government and you, security analysts, I guess. What have you done so far? What have you been going through so far?
Sometimes you have 150 missed calls, 200 missed calls, or media houses, both local and international, trying to speak to you about, what is happening there from the Ghanaian perspective, from the West African perspective, and also, the fact that, Ghana voted to condemn the invasion of Ukraine, and also engaging behind the scene our authorities who run the security sector in the country, engaging some of them to have an understanding of what our involvement is going to look like, especially when we have our students, who or citizens of this country who are somehow stuck in that country, and so yeah, it's been very busy, depending on where, which side of the divide you are.
All right. Is it risky as Ghana, considering the type of country, the level of country we are? Is it risky to show our biases?
It's not. I wouldn't say it is a yes and a no, because if you know, before Ghana gained independence, or during and after the independence declaration, you realize Kwame Nkrumah, or the founding fathers of this country, tilted more to the communist and socialist ideologies, and so we have had that long-standing cooperation with the East, with the Eastern Bloc, i.e., the Soviet Union, now Russia, and all that. And so, if you want to look at it from that angle, then you say probably it might amount to some amount of disloyalty and betraying how our relationship with, that part of the world probably is. And for me, if you also look at it, now we have all accepted democracy,
right.
We have accepted, call it capitalism.
Right.
We tilt a lot more to the Western ideologies, or if you call it, I keep saying that we don't seem to have an identity at the moment. Because in
maybe at the center.
Yeah, at the center. In one breath, you would find us taking a lot of money from communist China.
Right.
In one breath, and so then you ask yourself where you run to the World Bank. You've heard about e-levy, you run to the IMF and all that. And so you don't really know where we belong when it comes to these things. And so, but if you look at where the conversation is tilting towards, then it is safe to say that you want to be among the other countries, like the others who voted.
Supposedly the majority.
Yeah,
maybe.
the majority. So for me, from that angle, one would say, where do you belong at the moment? Do you want to belong to the invader who thinks that, well, somehow I feel threatened, and therefore I wouldn't want to allow my backyard to be used as a launching pad to invade me when I'm a superpower? And so these are the things that I'm looking at and thinking that, Africa, where do we, who is listening to us? We don't even have a coordinated effort at bringing back Africans who are stuck in that region. You have ECOWAS is issuing memos here and there, issuing press releases, AU, everybody seems to be talking. But the truth is that where do we belong as Africans? Where do we belong? Because if you look at our own backyard, West Africa is in turmoil, isn't it? West Africa is in turmoil. So as far as I'm concerned, these are the issues where France announced it was withdrawing its troops from France.
Right.
Just imagine the vacuum that is going to leave. And so we have our own challenges. And also, how does that affect us economically?
Yeah.
Prices of, fuels have already gone up. Things are going to be tougher than we expected.
Yeah.
And big brothers are going to enjoy from the spoils after this conflict, because then there's going to be something called rebuilding. And who are the people who are going to rebuild Ukraine? It's going to be Big Brother donating billions, bringing their contractors in to build. And so during this type of conflict, there are people who usually position themselves to benefit. Right. So we have to be looking at it. How do we benefit? We are a net producer of oil. Or, crude oil is going up. Are we looking at it and thinking that we have gas, we have this? How do we, every conflict, there's usually, conflict is somehow, I would say, people have benefited from conflict and still benefiting from conflict.
So it means we can benefit as well. We can take the opportunity.
Yes.
And do something.
We can take the opportunity to redefine, how we want to even trade, because the truth is that after this whole thing simmers down, everything is cooled, some people are already signing contracts to go and the defense manufacturers, those who build these armor tanks and warplanes, are, going to go into production. If you look at during COVID, the big pharmaceutical industry, cashed in. So I'm looking at it that, Big Brother is tickling itself and laughing and saying that the big, manufacturers of all these, armor tanks, warplanes, jet fighters would also have to cash in. And so, have you seen Europe actually trying to say we are going in to get rid of Russia? You haven't heard them. The U.S. itself is saying, no, we are not going to go in. We are going in as peacekeepers. When we know that they were in Libya to assassinate Muammar Gaddafi. So for me, I think that we need to tread cautiously. The war is not good. Usually there are few people who benefit, and usually it's the big brothers who benefit.
So we have been joined on the line via Zoom by Raymond Tandoh, who is a Ghanaian student in Ukraine. We're told, producers are telling me that he's been able to move himself to, is it Romania? Is he in Romania now? Okay, so Raymond, thank you for your time. Good afternoon to you. So in Romania, who are you with? Are you alone or you are with some of the students? Hello, Raymond.
Hello, good
Okay.
afternoon. This is not Raymond. This is Philip Bobie-Ansah.
This is Bobie, rather.
Oh, okay. President, actually.
Okay, so this is Philip. Okay, Philip.
Yes, this is Philip. Yeah.
All right, Philip.
President. Yeah.
Great. So because you are the president for NUGS, what can you tell us? What updates can you provide? What have you done with the student body so far?
I think media houses needs to be carrying.
I'm struggling with Philip.
Eastern provinces of Ukraine. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, so I'm saying that as I speak now, there are nearly 100 students we're having in Sumi, and now they cannot move. We cannot conduct any evacuation exercise. We've reached out to the students. What they are yearning for now is to get some funds for their upkeep, because now they've used whatever resources they had since the crisis began. So now they don't have anything for their upkeep. And the advice from the expertise they've spoken to their university authorities, they are saying that they shouldn't move to anywhere. So now we need to help them in this regard. The government needs to come in now and try to help financially. So that is the request they are making to government through me.
Okay, so we know that the students were numbering more than 1,000, right?
Yes, I'm particularly talking about one city now, that is Sumy, in the eastern region. They are part of the eastern cities in Ukraine.
Okay, so and that side, the student body numbers, how many?
On that side, we had about over 400 students actually in the eastern part.
Over 400. Can you give us an estimation of how many of them have been able to escape the place to a safer region?
About just 30%. Just 30%. In that region, we have Kharkov, we have Sumy, and we have Poltava, and then we have Dnipro. Only Dnipro have managed to evacuate to other Western neighboring countries. But for the rest, with Sumy, most of them, about 95% of the students are still there. Their number is getting up to 100 now. That is the records we have, and they've been calling on us. They've been reaching out to us that there is an issue they have now. We realized today that there was a chance of evacuation, but they reached out to us and told us military personnel have blocked all roads, so It is not advisable to move. What they are requiring from us is that they have no bit of free movement, that they can go, ATMs are back working, so they need us to send them something so that they can use for their upkeep now.
So they're asking us to send them something for upkeep? Because they've not been able to all right, get anything. Oh, right.
Absolutely. Since this, if I can elaborate further, since this whole evacuation exercise began, when I engaged the embassy, they made me present a budget to them, which I sent to them. So everything we've done so far, I can confidently say that we have over 60% of our students in safety now. They've managed to either cross
Oh.
And I can tell you that all these were cannot help anymore. Just today, we had students in Hungary that they couldn't afford transportation, and we lose the last dime on them to pay for their transportation to Budapest. That is the capital. Now, Sumi City is also reaching out to us to help them, but we have no means now. We cannot release any funds now. So I think this is the time that the government, I don't know how that's going to be possible. That is their request right now.
You don't know how that's going to be
almost 100
possible.
students. So we need to.
Right. So the problem now is transportation to move them from one danger to a safer region, right? That's the problem.
Absolutely. It's a problem, yes.
What do you say to that?
Well, I think that we should have some emergency planning, in place to ensure that these citizens of ours are taken care of. During war decisions are taken, and what is unfolding there is a big war, and so I would have expected that by now we would have had some amount of money sent out there to someone who is closer. Maybe I think Hungary is a bit more friendlier, Romania and the rest. But so I think that let's reach out to our reps in and around Hungary. I think in Ukraine, the ambassador who takes care of that area is in Switzerland. Mm-hmm. And so it would have been good to have the ambassador and whoever, I think is the ambassador and the team move to Hungary or a closer, a neighboring country, mm-hmm. To take charge of the situation till all our students and citizens are taken out of the territory. Because at the moment where they are, if you know the location of Switzerland and, where this, call it Ukraine and, Hungary is, it's a bit far apart. And so let's look at it quickly and ensure that we send in the needed resources. India and other countries are doing that. We can equally do that. I think already I know some measures have been put in place. Some of them have been flown in. And I'm told that some of them are crossing into the neighboring countries, which I think we must acknowledge. Even the citizens of, Ukraine, I mean, most of them majority of them didn't believe Russia was indeed going to attack. And so I would say that this conflict might have taken a lot of nations on by surprise. But that notwithstanding, the lives of our citizens, very, very important. This is the time nations must show that they love, they care about their citizens. And I think that somehow some of them have been brought in. So I must say the leadership of this country should do more to bring them in as soon as possible. And you heard him say that they don't have money because the Ukrainians themselves, can't get money, groceries are in short supply in Ukraine. Yeah. You can't get out. And so this is a big conflict that I think we should put in adequate measures to ensure that we get them repatriated into a safer area and bring them back home.
Let's go to Romanian airport. I'm told Nana Agyemang-Quache, who is the NUGS Shenivci president, that's if the name is correctly pronounced. Nana Agyemang-Quache, he is at Romania, and he is actually at the airport. We'll be boarding a flight to Ghana in about 10 or 15 minutes. Nana, thank you for your time, and thanks for connecting with us on Good Afternoon, Ghana. Where you are, who are you with? Are you alone?
So, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all. Right now, I'm in the Romanian airport, as you stated. I'm with 16 more students, and we are about to leave for Ghana.
You are, okay, you number 16.
Yeah, that's me 17.
Plus you 17. How did you manage to get to the airport? Yeah. And are you, being assisted by the Ghana government in any way?
So, as my president stated earlier on, we managed to get to the borders by ourselves, managed to cross by ourselves, and then when we got to Romania, we got in touch with the government, and then they assisted from here.
Did you come by train or bus or, I mean, which means? Or you trekked?
Bus halfway through and then walk and trekking halfway through.
So some were trekking, some were by bus.
Bus and trekking.
Okay, did you, those who boarded the bus,
Yeah.
did you pay and how much did you pay?
For that, I cannot state categorically because some people have diverse amount they pay. For me, I walked my way to the border.
I didn't quite get. Did you hear what he said? No. What exactly did
I
you
was saying
say?
that for me, I walked my way to the border. For other students, I think they paid, but I don't know the amount exactly because it differs.
How many kilometers did you walk for?
I think 3 or 4 kilometers. Yeah, I think so. If I stand to be corrected, by 3 or 4.
And the other colleagues who were able to board the bus, you don't know averagely how much they spent, maybe per person.
And emphatically, I can't do.
You cannot really be sure of that. Okay, I think his machine is frozen. Nana, can you hear me? Are you still there?
Yes, I'm around. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you faintly, but let's see if you can give me some more information. When exactly did you leave, and where were you before you left to Romania?
So, I mean, luckily for me, I was in Chernivtsi, as you stated, and Chernivtsi is, I think, 1 hour away from Romania. So we share a border with Romania. So I'm in Chernivtsi, and then that's how come I was able to walk and then get here.
Ah, okay. So you were closer. And before you moved, you tried organizing some of your members. Do they have, easy, simple, available documents where if our embassies want to locate all of you, they are able to do that? Do you know if the students have the documents necessary to be identified with?
Yeah, we all have necessary documents. I think assisted by our president, Philip, he sent out Google forms for us to all fill. So the database was actually sent. And I think when we go to the embassy, we go to the control area in Romania, I think the embassy for Czech Republic had already sent a letter in for them, and then they knew we were actually coming. So we got a pass to enter.
Okay. Nana Jiman, before you left, maybe you can give me a fair idea of how the picture looked like. How dangerous is it that today we could hear a blast and maybe one of you could be affected? How can you paint the picture to me?
I think you live in a country, you don't know what's going to happen next. That's what I can say. We lived in a fearful and then panicking area that students was assured that they can go anytime, they can die anytime. So it was very scary, and then I don't think it's a pleasant experience at all.
Wow. Where you are, you're telling me you are with some students. Can you just scan or pan your camera around? Let's see if we can see some of them, or they are not around you. Okay,
so one is moving right now.
Right.
Can you assist me, please?
Sorry.
Thank you very much.
So we are boarding now, and then one is ahead of me going, and more are actually ahead because of the interview. I had to delay my boarding.
If the government has to do anything to help those who are left there, what will be your recommendation? Maybe they have to change their strategy.
I think since that's
Okay, I'm trying to get the last bite from Nana before he boards his plane, because obviously you can see that he's moving onto the plane to come home. Okay, Nana, you back? So we can hear you now.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So tell me what strategy we can use now.
So I think Philip has said it all. And I think we need to adapt and then help evacuate students from Sumi. But then one thing we also need to comment the government is that they are taking care of us over here in Romania. Our flights were being purchased by them. We are living in hotels being paid by them. So they're actually doing well, but then they need to also pay attention to what my national president was also saying. Assuming.
Nana, thank you for your time. I wish you the safe flight to Ghana. We definitely will see you when you get in. Nana Ajiman Kwache is an executive with he said NUGS Shenefti president. And that is what my producer provides for me. He's already on his way to Ghana alongside some 16 students as well. The strategy they are giving us, the new strategy is that bring money so they can move to a safer place to be, lifted.
I think it's very important. In a situation like this, I do believe that Ghana, we've come, far. We should be able to quickly send some money over to, I don't know, I'm sure the embassy responsible for Ukraine or the ambassador responsible for Ukraine should have communicated with Madame Ayoko Oche to ensure that the needed resources, they have enough funding to bring. We don't have too many of our nationals there. We have, I think just about 1,200 Ghanaians who are in the whole of Ukraine as compared to some other countries where you have, millions of Ghanaians. Yeah. This is just, just about 1,200 to 1,500 Ghanaians. And
comparatively
so, a few. So it shouldn't take us too much to bring them back. But because of the situation there, I think whilst this afternoon listening to news, one young man, he is, rather closer to the Russian border.
Okay.
And so such a person can't move. So you have, pockets of them in various locations. If you look at the topography of Ukraine, it's very big.
And Russia, actually.
It's so big.
Yeah.
And so you could find someone who is probably days away from the capital Kiev, and or maybe days away from the Romanian side of the border, or Hungary, or the other, Poland and the rest. And so what do we, apart from those you can easily evacuate, what about those who are not evacuatable? You cannot evacuate them. What happens? So we must have a national emergency plan. I'm sure we do, to ensure that those who are stuck in there, how do we reach out to them? And how are we reaching out to them through, Ukraine, or through who? Because the place is in turmoil. Missiles they are shelling everywhere. Yeah. So how do you reach out? They are all our nationals. This is the time, that sense of belongingness, must kick in, where people begin to feel that, yes, my country is there for me during emergency or, situations like this. In other countries,
there are some of the students who have refused to come.
Well, that is
on the basis of the fact that some of them are claiming that Ghana is too poor a country, they don't want to come.
Well, that is a choice. I have heard people say probably the embassy or the country has been negligent. All these people should have been registered at the point. You can't force people who, on their own volition, have gone into another country to come and register with Ghana, because to you, some of them might have changed their nationality and all that.
Already.
And so those who don't want to come, unfortunately, it should be documented that those people have refused to come, because you don't want a situation where families, because obviously we all belong to one family or the other back home. So if you have a family member in Ukraine who says that I don't want to come back, then the authorities back home should put in adequate measures to inform that person's family in Ghana that, well, we have tried. He says he's not going to come, so we can't do anything. So that you don't have a situation where anything happens to those subjects of this country and the family members begin to say, oh, Ghana is negligent, we couldn't help. But you can't force people to bring them back. They should be willing and wanting to come back. So,
it's the reason why we all want to make Ghana a better place for everybody to want to be in, so that no matter the situation elsewhere, you will still want to come home. We're trying to get Sarah Addo, parent of one of the Ghanaian students, whenever she joins us, we hear from here. But Philip Bobie-Ansah has joined me. He's Ukraine NUGS president. Philip, thank you for your time again. Is it true that some of your students are refusing to come home? Do you have records of those?
Those are just rumors now. I think with the Western neighboring countries we are using, Romania, Poland, Slovakia.
Okay, we're trying to have a conversation with Philip. Philip, can you hear me now? Hello, Philip.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Right, go ahead. I lost you for a moment. So you said it's just rumors. We've seen videos of some of them. And we've also seen videos of some Africans trying to get onto a bus, but the military that was assisting them was stopping them, and they were complaining that it was because they were or they are blacks or Africans, better put.
So we've had those races. We've made all these complaints to the ministry through the embassy. We've said a lot. It's not just about these racial issues. We had some of our students behind borderlines. Electric shocks were used. Traumatizing events. We had Ukrainian immigration taking warning shots and all of that. And our students were witnesses of all these things. So it has been a traumatizing experience for these students.
Wait,
I think even psychological measures to be put in place for them.
Electric fence were used used?
Not electric fence.
But what?
Not electric fence. They are shocks, like small devices that
tasers
can shock someone with. So just to deter them from entering. That is what I mean. It was just to deter them from entering.
Why would they do that?
Do you understand me? Because the whole place was packed, everyone wants to get in, and they were trying to control. Because they were favoring their Ukrainian counterparts. They let of course, we of skin color. They could just let us stand over there, stand still for like 5 hours without entering. So these kind of things get people frustrated. They want to, force themselves and all of that, and that is where they started using these devices to try to deter our people from entering. The warning shots were given and all of that. So these are kind of the experiences young ladies and guys have been seeing in the past couple of days. Of course, we are grateful that we've left danger, but what's the point if you leave danger just to meet another one? We are not saying something bad has happened at the borders, but these are things that have gone on. We've seen racial abuse. We've heard gunshots. People were trying to board buses to Western neighboring countries, and then Ukrainian military pointed gun at them. They were at gunpoint, trying to warn them to go back, all because they want their Ukrainian counterparts to go into the buses first. So these are things we've experienced. These are things on the grounds that we are not hearing. Of course, the government is doing well. We are seeing all of that, but these are also behind scenes things that we are not really disclosing.
Right. Let me come to Doc in the studio. It's normal in situations like these, right?
Well, yes, it's normal when you are not prepared. From me, I would have wanted to see from the point of view of ECOWAS, from the point of view of AU, instead of the Ghanaian delegation with a military, because usually the embassies have military attaches going in, we should have had, someone from the AU with some military attaches who go in there because it is a war zone. You go in the military, going in there as, embassy staff to go and ensure that African nationals are evacuated in a more, organized manner, in a more security organized manner. They would have their own understanding of speaking to their other military officers who seem to be in charge of the situation. But we don't have it.
I'm wondering if we, in security terms, we have diplomatic negotiations where Ghana embassy can contact the Ukrainian government and say, listen, I want to evacuate my people, and they will be allowed, and some security organization will be done for them, just specifically for the embassy that requested for that. If not the Ghana embassy, then the UN should have been in by now.
Well, the truth is that the moment you elevate it to the UN, then chances are that you might not get anything done, because then the UN will be looking at it from a bigger, broader picture. You can see already he's talking about racism and discrimination, because then once you have a dark skin, you are suspected to be an African. It's not every dark-skinned person who is, from
African
Ghana or Nigerian. Some of them have, naturalized in some of these countries. And so mine is that there should have been a way to coordinate this. I would have wanted to see the response from the ECOWAS point of view, AU point of view, because then all of these embassies, they usually would have military attaches.
Is there a security reason why the AU, the ECOWAS, the UN, sometimes when war breaks out in the beginning, they don't go close until everything is torn apart?
Well, they don't, for instance, if you take the point of view, I'm not sure whether they've gotten to that humanitarian crisis. I'm not sure. Usually the UN or somebody would have to declare that we've gotten to a stage where, you have the UN, refugee board or council.
Yeah.
They would have to say, we are having a humanitarian situation down or up there in Ukraine. And so they usually will do their own assessment. But from the point of view of evacuating non-citizens who are Africans.
That's a humanitarian demand.
Well, it is. Mine is that, yes. So do we have, I'm sure ECOWAS, AU would have something like that. But usually we are very late when it comes to late to the party. We should have had this in place so that the moment the first missile went off, it is triggered. And so you go in there, because as at the point where before the first missile, shelling, the first shells went off, we should have had some negotiation at the moment.
Even at the threats level, at the stage of threats when Putin was issuing threats, is when you started thinking about your people.
Exactly. You should have a plan B.
Yeah.
And so the norm should have been that we begin negotiations. Who should be the contact person if we want to evacuate our people? Because at the moment, the whole of that area, the whole of Ukraine is call it a crime scene, or a war-torn, territory. And therefore, who are you going to be able to talk to sit with you where they themselves, their nationals, are running? But if we had had all this prior engagement, if we had had them, then you say, okay, we are the other side of the border, we are expecting 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe how many thousands of Africans, and we should have the African rescue mechanism. AU should have something, I'm sure ECOWAS should have something, but as to whether it is functional, it's not dormant, it's another thing, because we've seen in so many instances, even in South Africa, where the xenophobic attacks started. We are always late to the party. Maybe it's a reason why most people will say, oh, Ghana is too poor. I don't want to buy into, if you go to the streets of New York, there are poor people who are sleeping under bridges and so there are poor people everywhere. And so let's not make it look like, okay, it doesn't matter if I die. I would want to die in Ukraine instead of coming back. But it looks like these are the things that make people, especially Africans, believe that, it is better to die in some of this. Ukraine is not too developed. And so sometimes when you hear these sentiments from some of our nationals, from some of these not well-endowed countries, then you begin to ask, where did we go wrong?
But maybe the truth is the truth you may not know is that some of those people also come here to school.
Yes.
Yeah, we have international students here.
Plenty of them.
As much as we have ours also in their country. So it's the same thing anyway.
They are coming in and if you go
exactly.
looking for visas in Ghana, looking for residence permit, you only tend to appreciate the situation if you go to maybe the Ministry of the Interior or you speak to Madam Ayoko Botwe, and they tell you how many people are filing to naturalize in Ghana. Then the challenges you go through naturalizing in Ghana is more difficult than you would have in Britain, you would have in America. And this is, I have friends who have been here 15, 20 years and they want to naturalize and they can't get it. So sometimes...
But that one, you can appreciate the fact that it's because our systems now... Let's go for a break. We'll be back shortly. All right, you're welcome back. You're still on Good Afternoon, Ghana. We have about 15 minutes to go. Dr. Bonaa is with us. He's a security analyst. And also Raymond Tandoh, a student, we spoke with him. I think he's onboarding the plane to home, to Ghana. And alongside with some other 16 students. We're looking forward to speaking with Sarah Addo, who is a parent, but I think we're not successful. So as and when, until we finish. Philip Bobie-Ansah. Is Philip still with us via Zoom? Okay. Philip. Hello, Philip. Okay. Philip's line is a bit frozen now. Philip, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Philip is our Ukraine NUGS president. So we're wrapping up, and you've put a request forward that we should send monies to these students. Bonaa and myself here have actually already discussed how the students already are dispersed all over the place in different regions and different cities. How do we do this? We know we have an ambassador there, but how do we do this easily?
Yes, I think through the embassy, they can easily connect with the people of Sumy because we are still in contact with them. Communication is good. So I think through the embassy, they can work something out. I think this can be handled by the embassy in Bern, in Switzerland.
How about those we're told are in the bomb shelters? How will they get this information?
We have a correspondent there that we are communicating. So once this comes out, because we even gave out the locations of the bomb shelters, so we have an idea of where everyone is seeking shelter. So as soon as this gets to them, the correspondent over there will just gather as many as what he can get and then distribute to them. So all those things are in place.
These students we are trying to get back home, are some of you there with your parents or you are there on your own, your family? What is it like?
We are here on our own. We are here on our own.
Okay, so it's not that some of you are with your families that would, add on to the number of people we need to bring?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Does that mean that we have families there? We're not really focused. We're just focusing on the students.
Ukraine is not one of the locations where you would have the average Ghanaian want to start a family. So most people go there to study and they quickly come back home. Most of them are into the areas of health, engineering, and the rest. And they quickly come back home. And so you will not have too many, even though I must admit I've heard there are a few of them like that who have families and need to be evacuated. But mine is that it even makes the situation better because these are, in the local parlance, we say the ankonams is they take their rucksack and the next thing they leave. But if you have to evacuate a whole family, you can imagine the trauma, and even accommodating them and all that. So I think it's easy to evacuate these people and also send relief in terms of some funding to them, like you said. I mean, we've already mentioned it through the embassy. I think Madam Shelley Ayoko-Boche has done pretty well. She's been up to date, giving us frequent briefings. I think we want to get that. In
your estimation, she's done well?
Yeah, she's done well because I think I've heard her severally. I've seen releases from her quarters, trying to bring them.
And even from the embassy there.
From the embassy there, yes. And so I think that for the first time, it looks like there is some pragmatic effort from, government in trying to bring our citizens. And I don't know whether it's the scale of the conflict in that area, but I must commend government for the effort. But I think that I would want to see more effort in terms of sending money to them and probably some groceries. Yeah. It shouldn't because
even money they might not be able to.
You might not be able to spend, so they will need money to probably transport themselves. But groceries, some food, and so I think by now we should have had a bus load or a truckload of food items sitting there so that once they cross, or if it's possible to sneak some in to some of our nationals who are waiting to come, or else, from what I'm hearing,
it's a difficult situation.
It's a difficult situation.
Is Zoom there? Sorry. Is Philip? Oh man, Philip is gone. I actually wanted to ask Philip if any of the students impregnated one of the Ukraine girls, maybe.
Impregnated one of the Ukrainian.
I mean,
I don't get your
I
question.
just wanted to find out.
Okay.
Yeah, if they may.
Oh, obviously. I
Maybe
mean,
they friended one Ukraine lady and got her pregnant. So obviously you have a family. Are you going to leave?
oh,
and
wait. That chances are that the Ukrainian government will take care of the lady. You can see already from what I'm hearing, discriminating against dark-skinned persons. So they would, push the Ukrainian lady and the child who would be half-caste into a corner. And for you, who is as dark as I am, they put you two in. So obviously, you have Chinese people giving birth with our, ladies here, and our men also going there and giving birth with Chinese ladies. So as for crossbreeding there, I think it is acceptable. But the truth is that they won't say because you have given birth, you would have to show proof that you are Ghanaian before the Ghanaian government would evacuate you.
Okay, so let's hear from Bobie-Ansah. I wanted to find out from you, as a NUGS president, do you have any information of any of your members having established a family with maybe a Ukrainian, one baby, 2 boys, or something of that nature? And how are they handling that? Hello, babe.
Relations, but there's not been that connection yet. They've not established any sort of.
They haven't done that yet.
They haven't done that yet.
Yes.
I mean, they haven't established. They do have boyfriend and girlfriend relations, but they haven't established any kind of, marriage. Some do get into marriage relationship just to have the permanent residence. But based on the records that we have, we've not had anyone with children with the Ukrainian counterpart or anything.
Oh, okay. All right. We're wrapping up. Your last words before we go. We just wanted to confirm so that if we have to put in some extra effort, we do that. So your last words before we go. When are you getting into Ghana, and who are you coming with? How many are you coming with?
Well, I think I met the assistant ambassador of Czech Republic, who is here in Romania today. He even is organizing the first batch of Ghanaians who are coming home. He spoke with Anajimai. I specifically told him that until the rest of Ghanaians in Ukrainian borders leave, he should leave my name out of people who are going to Ghana. So that is the case now. I think we should refocus and then look at them. There are a lot of Ghanaians here in the hotel that I am. Over 200, I have to say, if I have to estimate. I think plans are on their way to send them all to Ghana. They are putting plans in place to evacuate them all to Ghana.
That's a very interesting position you've taken. I wish you all the best, and I hope your hotel is where again, if you can remind us.
It's hotel. What do you call it? Hello Hotel. It's in the capital of Romania, in Bucharest.
Bucharest. Okay. You must be more safe. All right, Philip. Thank you for your time. Philip Bobie-Ansah is a Ukrainian NUGS president who has decided to put his life down for his people until every single student is evacuated. He has asked the government to take his name out.
That's good. That's a mark of good leadership.
That's interesting.
Because as a student leader,
what do you have to lose?
as a local NUGS president in Ukraine, of course, I'm sure he might have been elected. As a local NUGS president in Ukraine, if you decide to flee whilst your students are there, what kind of leader would you be? And so I think it's courageous to hear him say, I want to be the last person to be evacuated. I think it's good. He obviously might have been elected by this student. They didn't elect you so that when there's conflict or when there is disaster, you flee and leave them there. So you can see he has more information to be able to engage, the evacuees and those who would have to do the evacuation and engage the media. But if he leaves and is sitting in this studio, it will be difficult to establish contact. But I'm sure that looking at the strategic position he finds himself, he would have either interacted with most of these students, have their telephone numbers, and it is easy to reach out to him, and therefore he is the best person government must reach out to. He would know the challenges. He will know the corners. And Bucharest, will call it Bulgaria, right? Is it Bulgaria?
Yeah.
It's in Bulgaria,
Yeah.
right?
It's in Romania.
Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Romania is one of the countries that in the past related to us during Kwame Nkrumah's time. And so these are countries that we have been friends with for, many, many, many years. And so let's see how it goes. But government should double up its effort at bringing back those who are willing to come back home.
Yeah, let me push in this question before our time runs out. We're told that Russia doesn't look like it's going to withdraw anytime soon, even though there are attempts for talks to happen. I don't know how soon you think we can do this by evacuating our people and making sure that we can then focus on building our...
Well, it doesn't look like Russia is going to withdraw, but I would think that they should give peace a chance. They should dialogue. If Russia wanted to make a statement, it has made that statement loud and clear that I don't want NATO in my backyard. And I don't want to think remotely that the NATO alliance, those who formed the NATO, would want to rope in another country that is so close to, what's the name? Russia. Because then if you do that, chances are that it's just one strike and everything is gone.
Right.
But looking at trying to evacuate, we are also, despite our condemnation of what the invasion of Ukraine and all that, we have very solid relationship with Russia. Let's take advantage of it. We have the Russian, embassy here. Let's engage them and see, how can they also help. Probably there is a way out they can help, as far as I'm concerned. And also maybe behind the scene, how can we dialogue with them, looking at the role our current president is playing within the sub-region and all that. I'm sure if all these people add their voice, I'm told there is some ongoing talks, or there's supposed to be talks in Belarus. They should give peace a chance, but mine is that the Americans and the Europeans, the Western Europe and the rest, they would have to tread cautiously, because sometimes they do these things and throw the world into turmoil. They came into Libya and assassinated Muammar Gaddafi. It is the assassination of Muammar Gaddafi that has culminated into the upheavals we are seeing in the sub-region, in the Sahel. Because then most of the mercenaries who are operating, jihadists, actually had done some work in Libya, and Muammar Gaddafi was taming them. So for me, I think we have to also look at the Western propaganda.
Yeah. All right. We'll continue this discussion. Dr. Addo Bonaa is a security analyst. We spoke with Raymond Tandoh, Ghanaian student in Ukraine who is coming to Ghana, and also Bobie-Ansah, who is NUGS president in Ukraine, currently in Romania. My name is Afua Ampofo. Thank you. We'll continue this discussion as we follow through with updates with Ukraine and Russia.